And right now, it is time to talk about some news.
Oh,
Careful.
yeah.
Careful what you say.
I love news.
Be very careful about
Yeah,
what you
the
say.
bell is still technically within Howie's
What's
reach
in the
right
news?
now.
Chuck Wendig is in the news this week, boys.
Our favorite good old buddy, good old Wendigo himself.
Chuckles Wendig. Chuck
C-Dub?
Wendig, author, Star Wars author, the Aftermath trilogy, right?
Isn't he doing a comic?
He has done some comics in the past. He was in the middle of doing some comics.
What?
And we got a He was, yeah.
Was.
And this week we got a little tweet from Chuck that essentially...
Not us directly.
No, he put it out for the masses to consume.
So kind of us.
Yeah, we're right in the center of the masses.
We're part of that, right?
We're leaning in the unwashed portion.
So here's the thing that has happened. I just got fired from Marvel.
You did,
Taking
Mike?
off issues 4 and 5. I'm reading
Mike.
Chuck. Eric, I'm reading Chuck's tweet.
Oh,
I took it as you were talking about yourself.
I did too, and
I didn't know you worked for Marvel.
I even know what you're
All
doing.
right.
And I
Preface. Here we go. Chuck
I thought
Wendig
you did
tweeted.
some sort of like
So here's
accounting
the
or
thing that
something.
has happened. I just got fired from Marvel, taking off issues 4 and 5 of Shadow of Vader, and taking off an as of yet announced Star Wars book.
What?
This might be a log thread, so apologies in advance. And he goes on to describe basically what happened. Essentially, Marvel contacted him and said that they did not appreciate some recent tweeting that he had done that, I don't know, contained some profanities and things like that, which is, I don't know, that's kind of a Chuck thing, isn't it?
Guess I'm never going to write a book or a comic. That sucks.
And yeah, so kind of, I don't know. So anyway, so yeah, kind of some sad news there, I guess. I don't know, for those who have followed Chuck for any length of time, I mean, you know, he's very outspoken, very political in his leanings, and doesn't really hold anything back. So, I mean, and there's been obviously especially over the last, I don't know, 8 to 12 months, probably, you know, there's been some discussion among the fandom about, you know, Star Wars, people involved in Star Wars, the content creators,
Right.
and how they engage with fans online,
Yeah.
social media. You know, some people, the critics of Chuck and even Ryan Johnson to some extent, that
I think what you're getting to is saying that there's a big question on whether or not what we're doing is fanning the flame, good fan flames or bad fan flames.
Sure.
Like the interactions with the public, is there a better way to do it than just kind of, you know, it's funny because all the actors and everything have to sign all these incredible NDAs and they're very controlled in talking to the media and stuff. But other content creators, it's kind of like, hey, you know, you're not out in front of the camera, so hey, just go nuts.
Sure.
Or it seemed like that's what they all felt they could do.
Right.
For a while there.
Yeah, for a while, because I mean, especially, I mean, the probably the highest profile, of course, Ryan Johnson, but to a lesser extent, even Chuck. You know, here's two content creators that are out there, they're engaging with fans, and you know, they push back a lot on some of them that would, you know, engage them in a negative way and that type of thing, and
Fans / trolls.
Right. Trolls, yeah. I mean, obviously there are people out there really pushing the buttons there, but I guess the bigger question is, you know, should people like Ryan Johnson and Chuck Wendig be engaging fans at that kind of level? You know, because let's take a look at other content providers like a J.J. Abrams. J.J. is never on social media.
Does he have a Twitter account?
He does have a Twitter account now. He's
nice.
He's tweeted twice since he created it a couple months ago.
Dave Filoni has like 3 tweets, I think.
Yeah.
And they're all like wolves. Pictures of wolves.
But
excuse me, what
I
are
guess
they?
The point is, I mean,
Wolves?
so someone like
Thank
you know,
Oh,
JJ
wolves.
and Filoni, they don't hardly tweet at all. But then, you know, someone like a Ron Howard, he tweets a lot. Kasdan,
But I don't think
tweets a lot.
Ron tweeted that much until Star Wars.
Well, once he, well, I don't know that that's true. I don't know how much. I mean,
I guess I technically don't either. That was the impression that I got. I don't know if that's
well,
accurate.
I never really started following him at any length until he got involved.
Right,
in
and
Star Wars. So
definitely
I
me
can't,
too, yeah.
I can't really say
As much as I
prior
liked
to-
him, I didn't follow.
Right.
So right.
But I guess my point is that, you know, with Ron, I mean, he seemed to be, when I would follow him on Twitter, the kind that when heavy criticism would roll in, he would either let it roll off and not engage it, or if he did engage it, it would be, I'm sorry you felt that way, kind of.
Or
thing.
or returning with a question. What specifically, drives you to feel that way about this?
Right, exactly, and engage that way. But whereas. Again, the other side of the spectrum is, really getting drug in by trolls and stuff and engaging in, some more spicy language and things like that.
Let's turn the clock back. I remember back when around the time this podcast started.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, you remember that far back?
I do, as a matter of fact. I didn't imbibe as much as you did last week, so I still have memories from early life. No. I remember Garrick when we first Chuck Wendig first came out. Hey, this guy's got books coming off.
Yep.
And Garrick said, "Hey, I don't know if you follow this guy on Twitter.
He's fun to follow.
He's a really good follow. He's funny and sarcastic and goofy and is kind of entertaining." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, down to earthiness, hooray!"
Yep.
But unfortunately, in the divisiveness, whether or not the divisiveness is way overblown, but the divisiveness of Star Wars fandom of late, it has set a stage for down to earthiness to turn into maybe just a little too out of control if you don't, I don't want to say censor yourself, but maybe, control your message. Is that the wrong phrasing? It's hard to say because nobody wants to, hey, stay in line, stay in your lane. No one wants to do that. But at the same time,
delete your account.
If you went on Twitter and started bad mouthing potential customers, how would that reflect on you? If I went on Twitter and started complaining about any facet of my job or the customers thereof, I'd be fired in a heartbeat. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing where I think
that's why you block your company.
Yeah, exactly. The average person is expected to behave at a more controlled level. So there's this whole thing of like, well, if you are not the average person, if you're a type of person with a tremendous amount of exposure, does that mean you don't have to have as much control as the average person? Or does it mean you should have more because it's a more valuable thing that you're protecting?
Well, okay, let me just relate this to myself because I'm a small business owner and I engage with clients and customers online.
Yeah.
And
you sell sex toys, don't you?
Hey.
But
I'm coming to the party next week, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But my point is I try to keep my business, pages and the way I engage with clients, separate from users. My personal type stuff.
Yeah.
Versus my, political discussions and things like that. I try to keep all that very separate.
In a proper venue.
Right.
Essentially,
Absolutely.
having multiple venues, multiple media for different things.
So I'm one of those. I'm in that camp that you're describing. I'm one of those that believe that someone like Wendig, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, people like this that work, at least at some level with Lucasfilm and Disney, that there should be some restraint, that there should be an expectation of some restraint.
But then there's the other side going, let them be real.
Right, exactly. And I honestly,
I feel for that.
I do. I get that too, because I'm kind of one of those guys that, it's like, well, I would rather know how you feel about things than, hiding them. And
so then does it become, let them be free and say whatever they want, unless they're a dick?
Let it go, man. Like Elsa, dude. Disney needs to watch Frozen.
Yeah, they do.
Like, Chuck Wendig's like Elsa.
Hey, wait, they made it. They made Frozen.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Let's just put it this way, that I'm not surprised that this came down the way it did. I'm surprised
that's
it took
the height
this
of
long.
hypocrisy right there.
Yeah,
that's
true.
You make a song about letting it go, and then you don't want people to let it go.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Stupid.
Yeah.
Come on, Disney.
Yeah, I don't know.
Act together, mouse.
I'm a big proponent of taking responsibility for your actions. And
Howie coming down on the real hot side of the issue.
Well, what's going to be interesting to see, because we're already seeing it.
Yeah.
Is 10 years from now, let's say someone's trying to get a job and the companies are starting to look at your past.
Yeah.
Things that you've said, and if it's something that they don't believe in as a company and they think it's detrimental to their business, they may not even hire you.
Have to be very conscious of that. And it's funny that you bring that up.
That's true for a $40,000 a year job. Why wouldn't it be true for a six-figure or more?
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a story probably 6-8 weeks ago that Rian Johnson, it was discovered that he had, deleted tens of thousands of tweets on his Twitter account.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Like
I don't even
Lord.
have that many tweets. I don't even have.
Anyway,
I don't know
he
if I
got
have
it down to
1,000.
only just about a couple thousand tweets. And the general, he didn't address. Well, I think he did end up addressing it.
Yeah.
But he was kind of very roundabout what what his reaction to it was. But the general belief is that, hey, if you want to work in Hollywood,
Yep.
James Gunn in quotey fingers.
Yeah, I mean, really,
you have to
obviously
be-
we're talking about two very different things, but they're in the same
Right.
the same genre.
That's not to suggest that Ryan Johnson, was making pedophile jokes like James Gunn, but
We're not saying he didn't. No, I'm kidding. No,
but that's the point, is that these
Right.
guys I think are coming to learn that, okay, this matters, and if I want to have work, I've got to be a little more controlled about
What people forget about free speech is there's a cause and effect.
right.
Right.
And free speech is absolutely important.
Absolutely.
But there could be a consequences to what you say.
Free speech says you're not going to be locked up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a company can't just say, okay, you be that way. You do you, but away from us.
And I'll just use the James Gunn example. I'm in the camp that felt like I felt like he personally had addressed his past, like that, that was a time in my life where I was doing a different thing and I was being a provocateur and that type of thing. And then he made there's actually a very clear trail where he made amends for all that in about 2012 and kind of righted his life. And then,
But he didn't try to erase it.
No, exactly.
He didn't try to erase it. He said, nope, I did it.
Right.
It's right there, and things are different now. I'm going to be different now.
I'm in the camp that I was disappointed that he was fired from Guardians.
Same here.
Yeah.
But that
poor James
said,
Gunn.
I also understand where Disney's coming from, because they've got a brand to protect. They've got shareholders to protect. They've got, clients and customers.
And they have a lot of people that are always looking for an excuse to hate on Disney because they're so big.
We're trudging through a different, an unknown, territory where this didn't used to be a thing.
Right.
We weren't online.
It's funny, yeah, because it was, from a professional standpoint, it was a thing. Don't do anything that could make the company look bad, period. So that was a thing.
But you didn't have as many outlets and venues to do that.
It wasn't so easy. And also, we didn't have this thing where you could get hundreds and hundreds or thousands of likes and people affirming you to the point where you forget to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah,
you don't have a good barometer of how far is too far when everybody's hitting the like.
And I think it's a good point to be made is the companies haven't changed.
Yeah.
Their stance on how they how they handle this kind of thing hasn't changed.
If anything, it's like what Mike said. It's funny that it actually took this long. If you could say that Disney changed, it would be that they didn't get involved sooner.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm certain that I feel like I'm supporting the decision they made. I feel weird about it as someone who doesn't like Wendig's writing, or at least his novels, and I'm not a fan of the way he spouts on Twitter. So, I'm not exactly like, yay, Wendig. I'm not happy about a dude losing his job this way.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
So I'm real torn on the issue, but at the same time, it's like, you probably could have come down a little sooner and not had to rip projects that he's working on out from under him. I feel like that would have been cleaner. I don't know if it's actually better. But I feel like it would have been cleaner. I don't know.
But it seems like they're doing a lot more than this. It seems like they're actually starting to take action in different areas. And
well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I just texted this to you guys today.
Right.
But